Hello, Carolina. Nice to see you.
Hi, Manuela. It's always a
Ah,
joy to meet up with you.
oh, thank you so much. I remember those Ibiza and light festivals that you used to do. So beautiful. I just looked through some pictures on your still existing website, Ibiza and Light Festival.com, and so many really nice memories came up. But now you are doing in light travels, and why don't you explain how you got from festivals to doing travels? And if I is that right? I think I remember that you used to in the world work as an event manager, something like that.
Well, yeah, there's a background in that area. I used to work for a company named British Petroleum when I was still working for the world. This is back in the 90s, at the end of the 90s, and I was the regional event organizer. So I did a lot of event organizing, and I was so tired that when I was called to Spirit, I surrendered that. And I
Wow.
thought, I'm never going to do this again. I'm just going to work for God and whatever until I came to Ibiza, and the invitation came very clearly in my mind, and the Holy Spirit saying, "Okay, now you give me those abilities that you have, and I will
Right.
use them purposefully." So that's how I became the organizer of the Bees and Light Festival. But I was very guided, so everything was very organized. Now, how did I go from the festival to the travels? Well, last year, in 2024, I still had this urge to put people together like we did in the festival after 2020. It was very hard to do that in Ibiza.
Yeah.
And I remember being here in my house and just in prayer, just surrendering, all possibilities, and observing how my heart was like, oh, we don't have a festival ever again. And then the logo of the festival appeared in my vision board, if you want, and I saw the logo vibrating. It says Ibiza Light Festival, and there's two people with a heart, and it was vibrating in my mind. And then I saw it leave, like if it was,
Ah,
and I thought, oh yeah, that means it's going away. Uh, the logo changed again, and it had a plane on it, and I said, oh, right, so the festival is traveling. And then I
oh,
heard In Light Travels. And I said,
wow.
so now we
Okay.
don't have a fixed festival, we have a traveling coming together. So that's how it
Wow.
came. Yeah. It was very, very guided, very exciting. This happened like in a month's time. And then immediately I had an invitation. I've had an invitation for years from a travel agency in Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka.
Yes, because the owner of the travel agency in Sri Lanka is a Course in Miracles student who has a house in Ibiza. So we met, she came to the festivals, she knew the course, and she had been telling me, I think we should do a trip to Sri Lanka with the course. And she kept telling me this every year, but every year I had a festival. But this year, I mean, last year, yeah, no, this was this year. She came up with, when are we going to do this trip? And then, I said, let me get a feeling for it. And it all came together.
Wow. So that's why you're taking us to Sri Lanka from the 14th to the 25th of November. So why don't you tell us that are listening to this video a bit and are traveling like I will too about the itinerary we're going to do there in Sri Lanka?
Well, thank you for asking. The trip is called Sri Lanka Changes You. And as Course in Miracles students and teachers, we know that nothing external changes you. So it's a playful with the words. The idea of the trip, as it came to me as well, and I'll tell you why, is interchange. Using a trip for interchange.
Mm.
As with the awareness of how the mind works and how we're doing all our undoing, our atonement, getting out of our comfort zone, going to a country where we don't speak the language, we don't recognize the flavors or the smells. And um, we are going to do a workshop through the trip. It's a 11-day trip. Well, actually 10, because the first date is used in traveling. So the itinerary entails beautiful travels, not through all the country because it's quite a big island and it has lovely routes, but the roads are really tropical. We don't have highways. So 70 kilometers might take 3 hours, so. But we are visiting an elephant orphanage just to join to every aspect of creation. So every time we stop, there's a calling, the teachings of the course. Then every day we will have an aspect of a workshop. I will be teaching maybe 2 hours every day. We'll be very flexible with it. I'll be giving everybody an itinerary. This one is mine, so it's all written up, But we will be using all kinds of travels. We will be going by bus, going by train. We will be going by tuk-tuks. We will be visiting the most emblematic spaces like Sigirilla. Sigirilla is this lovely rock, very famous rock. You can look it up in Google. We have to climb it. It's one of the most enchanting things about this climb is that there are Sinhalese people who will help you climb if you feel you can't do it by yourself. And I wanted that experience, I wanted to hang on to a Sinhalese person and look into his eyes. And amazing, I think we bonded for life. This young man, he was 37, helped me up. And we will be going through a river and visiting lifestyle places. For example, we will be visiting the home of a cinnamon maker, how they make the cinnamon. Yeah, we will be visiting a local village where they shred the coconut and they make special breakfast that we will be eating with them. We will be going on a train through the mountains and through the tea plantations, which are amazing. And, Sri Lanka is the former Ceylon. So the Ceylon tea comes from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And the tea plantations are there, and we will see the women working in the plantations, and we will walk with them through the plantations. And there's a very important aspect because there's an aspect of the trip that is very warm in my heart. And it's honoring the local spirituality. Buddhism is the local spirituality. Okay. Almost 80% of the people there are Buddhist. And we will be doing a silent retreat, a 2-night, 2-day silent retreat in one of the most emblematic meditation centers called Nilambe, with a lovely meditation teacher called Upul. And I know this because this trip will be the 3rd edition of the trip.
Okay, so we're not going the first time, so you are already experienced. You already know the people and the places.
Yes. Great. And I'm absolutely in love with my Sinhalese family. That's what you call them, Sinhalese, the people from Sri Lanka. Yes. There is, what was very surprising for me was the innocence that I found in these people, maybe because the Buddhists are very focused on gentleness and being kind and being non-judgmental and being loving. And they exude that. Everyone, the little kids, the people you find everywhere, they have huge smiles. They look, and this might be something strange. Well, it was for us. And I mean, I'm from Spain and my group was Spanish speaking people. And, we hug and we touch and we look at it into each other's eyes. But this was beyond that. Some people were a little bit uncomfortable. And I said, look into their eyes and stay, because they stay. They look into your eyes and then they stay. It's like they're sharing themselves. And it was kind of awkward at first. And then you just let yourself go and join.
Wow.